Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. I'm Clay, and this is a short circuits video, shorter formats for your retro viewing needs. Today we're talking about a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and a pretty hard one to find at that. It is TDGS09. Oh boy! No, actually, this is Super Megatron. Let's jump right in. So you can see right here, this is the box that it comes in, and it is a Generation Selects standard package with the stark black and white outsides, and we've got some upside down print there. Yeah, we got that there, and then we got that there. It pretty much just does that on all four sides, and then does this on the back. You know, there's a little bit of extra schmutz at the bottom around here, but other than that, very bare bones on the outside. But at the same time, I kind of like it. You know, it's high contrast, it's bold. It kind of says, ooh, you're getting something top secret, something that doesn't have to be displayed on a store shelf. So I have already opened this figure and played around, and I'm glad that I did, because he has some parts that are a little bit tricky to get out. They're just stiff. So we pull out the box, and then you get to the part that actually has line art, and there he is, Super Megatron in all of his glory. So a little bit of backstory on Super Megatron. This is a character that was kind of Japan only. In the United States, we stopped Transformers after the Rebirth series. But Japan didn't get that series. Instead, they continued on in their own unique way, and Galvatron ended up getting crushed under an iceberg and then reanimated into the form of Super Megatron in their series. And so that's what this is. You can see here that we've got some more pretty standard Transformers packaging, and some more, you know, a lot of Japanese stuff on this part right there. So there we go. And then this is just a sleeve, pulls right off. Many layers of packaging to these Hasbro Selects toys. And so we've got a box. We've got the Decepticon emblem, very simple. More Transformers Generation Selects. Nothing, all blank there. And then of course you've seen those, and blank on the bottom. So we pull this flap forward, and that allows us to open the box to get a Down with Generation Selects emblem. I don't get this. I just don't get it. Every time I open one of these, it's upside down. And my only thought is that maybe it's intended to be able to be displayed like this. But, I mean, who opens a box like that? I guess maybe if it's at a toy show or something, they could do that. I don't know. I'm sure that there's a reason for it, and if I knew the reason, I'm sure it would make sense. But as somebody who's only interacting with this as I ordered it and I open up, and when I first open it up, the logo is upside down, that doesn't make sense. At least not to me. Do any of you ever open packages by you know, opening it like this and going, whoa? I mean, if you do, please tell me, because I want to know. So anyway, you can see Megatron in his vacuum formed packaging here, already turned into his spaceship mode. It's a cool mode. You know, no doubt, it is a cool mode. I saw the pictures for this toy, and I immediately thought, oh, that's cool. But then I realized that it was a retool of Galvatron from Transformers Titans Returns. And that Galvatron leaves a lot to be desired, mostly in that it's very, very light, very hollow. It just feels like a cheap toy. So I was really concerned when I found out that this was going to be a retool of that. And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. I do want to show you here. So, of course, you do have instructions. And there's a lot of instructions. So there they are. And there they go. I typically don't pay a lot of attention to instructions. However, I did have to refer to them a little bit on this one because of some of the places where there were some stiff spots that seemed like they should move, but I wasn't quite sure, and I didn't want to break the toy. So here you go. This is Generation Selects Super Megatron in his ship mode. And it does look really, really good. It is it's a really cool spaceship, and yeah, it's got stuff sticking out of it, but it's actually pretty cool. Now, actually, you know what? I'm gonna amend something. This set of guns actually is packaged inside of the big cannon here, and when I opened it, they had the treads on top, just like that. And yeah, that's interesting. I'm not hating on that. You know, it adds a little bit of something to the top here, but then on the underside, you know, you have these little tread things, and there's no other kind of landing gear. And so, you know, if it's got treads, I can't help it. My practical-minded brain says, well, it needs to land on its treads. So I transform it this way, and then it's got this that goes inside there, and there's this little hole right in the back of this piece here, which is actually his butt. There's a hole in, you know, right above where his butt crack would be if robots had a butt crack, which they don't unless they're severely malfunctioning. But nonetheless, there is a little hole there, and you can peg that in. And sometimes it's easier if you straighten out the peg right like that, because it does hinge, and so that allows you to place it there. So that's just what I do. You don't have to do it that way. If you get a Super Megatron, you can transform him any way you want. So Super Megatron does technically have 3 modes. He has a pseudo tank mode, and then he has his jet mode and his robot mode. So let's go ahead and do the tank mode. And this is interesting. So similarly, not exactly the same, but similarly with Galvatron's spaceship mode. You know, I'm going to use air quotes for that. Galvatron's spaceship mode, because it looks spaceshipy, like on the top 2/3, but then you get to the back and it just looks like robot legs doing a split. This version also, it's the exact same legs. These are the same legs as from Galvatron, and there is a little nub. So there's this little hole in the kneecap there, and then a little nub on the side there that can align that. And then you can have the treads down here. And then these wings do a lot of cool things. They pivot up like this, and then over, and then it rotates down, see, just like that, and then it folds up like that. I think that it's supposed to kind of stick, but you see that just doesn't quite want to stick in there. at some point what I may do is just put a little bit of extra super glue on this, and of course I'll let it dry completely first, and that will probably add just enough tension to get that to hold itself in there nice and snug, the way I think it's intended to. So we do the same thing here. Rotate this up and then down and then over and then flip up. And once again, see even that side. Now, if I'm sending a telegraph message, okay, these are great because, you know, they've got excellent ergonomic feel to them. But as transforming parts that are supposed to lock in, nonetheless, so you do that, and then you have the legs out here, and, you know, once again peg the kneecap into this little notch right there. So you do that, and then we're going to flip this over, and now at this point it's kind of looking pretty tank-esque. I guess you could put these little louvers back like this. You know, you can have them out, you can have them forward, but it does kind of have something missing in the middle. Now, it doesn't actually say to do that in the instructions, though. So what the instructions tell you to do is you take off the fusion cannon, and this is a cool piece. This is a very cool piece. The barrel of the cannon splits like this and folds down around the side, and that can make a shield for his robot mode. But why would you do that? Because it's a fusion cannon, and Megatron doesn't shield himself from suckers. He blows them away with a fusion cannon. And then you have this door that opens here. Now, this gun is normally inside here, and it's pegged in just like that. Okay, and I'm not gonna put it in there because what I've found is that getting this, actually no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw myself on this grenade just for you. So you'll find it like this. Okay, this is closed over like that, and you open it, and it's like, oh cool, there's guns here. And then you go ahead and try to get that to fold out. I mean, it's not happening. And I believe that that's why the friendly designers at Takara and Hasbro, I guess it was probably Takara, provided these wing things, because you have to use these to pry that out. That is the only way that I can get this thing out of there. That's it. That's all I can do. I cannot get that out with my fingers. I need a pry tool. Fortunately, Megatron does come with the pry tool, so thanks. But otherwise, yeah, that doesn't work at all. This looks like a thing already. Yeah, I feel like there should be like a little pilot that could sit in there. But you don't need to do that. You can close that back up, and now it's a 4-barreled thingamabob, and you can take that, and there's that 5mm peg right there, and a 5mm hole right there, so you can just attach that here, and now you have a tank. It is a tank. It is very, very tanky, sort of. You have some pivoting here on this. You also have the whole turret that pivots like that. But I've seen this a lot on a lot of Transformers, where for some kind of an alien tank mode, they just leave a gaping chasm. I think that it started with Armada Megatron, where they had the Minicon grabbing jaws that were on his head that would be here in his transform, and I've seen them do it with Warpath, and you know, I'm just not a fan. I feel like I feel like it, and of course this is a human perspective. I've only seen human tanks, and I haven't seen that many of them in real life. When I was a kid, there was a street fair, and one year they had a tank, and that was really cool. They let all of us kids climb all over the tank and load shells and blow up buildings. It was awesome. But nonetheless, when I've seen pictures of tanks, they usually have something in here, and so that kind of bugs me. It just bugs me. It doesn't, to me, read as a vehicle. So here's what I do. This is my way of solving the problem, and you can take it or leave it, because, like I said, if you have a Hasbro Generation Selects Super Megatron, you can transform him any way you want. But what I do is I tuck in the legs and I put them together like this. And yeah, he's not as wide, but I feel like that's still a thing. I mean, that to me looks like a thing. It's not. It doesn't have the footprint of the other version. I'll concede that, but it's solid. And the other thing that I do, which I actually like this. I like this a lot. But honestly, so let's take that off, and we'll open this back up. It is a sticky piece. There we go. So you saw how I kind of used this to pry the end up. So we can take this piece out, and then we close this down. We turn this back into a fusion cannon, or whatever kind of space cannon it's supposed to be. It sort of looks like a railgun a little bit, and that's cool. I hope it's a railgun. I mean, fusion cannon is awesome, but railgun. So, and then you can do that, and see now he's got his fusion cannon, and it gets rid of that extra joint at the end that made this just a little bit wonky. And then you can take this, and you could put it up here and have it facing out the back, or you could pull it off, put it on top, and do that. Because, I mean, honestly, you could have this alone, or you could have this and fusion cannon. I feel like that's pretty cool. That is a pretty cool thing, and I'm really digging it. So you notice I've got a different background. My monitor is up here now, and so when I want to see what kind of a view you're getting, then I go like this, and I'm like, oh, I'm thinking really hard. Anyway, let's go ahead and change camera views so that you can get this. We can be sure to show it in focus. So this is the camera. This is the tank view, and it does look pretty good. I do like the tank, but of course this is my version of the tank. And it's just a fun thing. You know, we can angle this down, and there aren't really rollers on here. It just kind of slides. That doesn't really bother me. It is what it is. It's a third mode tank mode. It's a space tank, but I'm digging the space tank. And of course, going back to the spaceship mode is pretty easy. They have a really nice socket here where this fits into this part. So that closes there, and that's really cool. And then we just fold out the wings. And then if you're like me and you just keep this part out pretty much all the time, then you're going to plug that in there and put out these on the side, and that is his spaceship mode. And it's a pretty cool spaceship mode. Once again, this is my version of the spaceship mode. You could have the treads. Let's get these up. So his little hip panels were folded up, so you don't want to twist it with those up, because if you do, then they will pop off and fly across the room, and then your cat will eat them. So, and it's funny that a cat will eat these little plastic things, but a cat will not eat their food when you give them their food. But you know, that's cats. And so that is the recommended version, the official, let's call that the official version of his spaceship mode. Either one looks good. Either one is a perfectly reasonable spaceship mode. I like it. I think Benny from the Lego movie would like it. So yeah, spaceship. So let's go back and let's take a look here. We want to get to the robot mode, which is not hard. He is, you know, for a pretty detail-oriented figure, he does have a relatively simple transform. We of course are going to pull out the legs, and just like in Galvatron, the knees are on these double joints here, and they click in nice and tight. And that is one thing that I will say about this figure. The joints are nice and tight for the most part. So the quality on that is pretty good. We also have these little... Yeah, I almost wish that you could kind of keep the treads by the sides of the legs, because that looks cool, but then it's really hollow back here. And so the treads do fold around and they just snap right in there. They actually snap very nicely. And then we're going to rotate the legs around to face the front of the robot pelvis. And we're going to rotate the body at the waist. And now, just like we did before, we can pull the wings back out of the way. And do that. We can take this piece, but you're going to take this off. You don't have to. You can leave it on when he's transformed into robot mode and have sort of a less threatening Megatron. And so we'll do less threatening Megatron first. So you have this little treaded wheel thing here. And so you fold that under like that. And then he actually has two chests. So I'm going to show you the what I figure is the less threatening chest. That right there. Of course, the arms aren't hidden at all. The arms just fold up. And it's fine. It's a Cybertronian modes transformer. So you can get away with a certain amount of that. And then you're going to have the fists, which fold out. And once again, we're seeing a lot of shared geometry from the Galvatron version. His arms are very, very Galvatron-y. They don't have the treads molded to them, but other than that, they are pretty much the same arms. Hollow on the insides, and they do kind of feel kind of light because they share that geometry with Galvatron. And we are going to open the door. I guess I could have left it open before, because we need to flip up the Megatron head. And you have a very, very Gen 1 Megatron head. We can fold these down. And so this... Whoops. No, we don't want to... So this is what I would consider Megatron pretending to be non-threatening mode. All right, so you've got him, and he doesn't have a big cannon on his arm. He swoops in, and you know, you see that big ship in the distance, and it looks like it has a lot of guns or something, but then he transforms into a robot and he lands in front of you, and he starts talking about peace and progress and stuff like that. And what he means is you're going to be in pieces due to his progress. But yeah, let's show it on the other camera. And that is right there. And we'll just adjust this view just a little bit here. So there he is. I like the sculpt. I think he looks great. I like the colors. Even though he's got a lot of gray, it's not a bad gray. Some of the grays that they have used for some of these toys in the past have been very cheap looking, and this is not. It's a good, consistent, neutral gray, and then the dark grays and the reds really, really pop. Makes him look very Gen 1-tastic. And I like that word. I'm going with Gen 1-tastic. But of course, this is not his full thing. See, he can also flip these things forward, and that gives him some shoulder cannons. And then, obviously, you want to do the arm cannon. I mean, that everybody wants to do the arm cannon. He's freaking Megatron, so you do the arm cannon. And let's see, that actually goes right here. They've got a dedicated peg right here on the arm for that. So that goes right there. And now, now he's got his arm cannon. And then you can also take this array of guns. Put that. It's a tight hole, and I feel like there's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm just going to leave it alone. So there we go. And now he looks like the Megatron that you've heard of. You can also, on the back here, you can rotate these wings up like that. But they kind of get in the way of this thing. So depending on whether you want to have the kibble higher on his back, or you can even do something like this where you just do that. Now he has, his kibble comes a little bit further away from his back, but it's not hanging as low. Again, if you've got this toy, transform him the way that you want, but you do have options, and none of the options are bad. That's the thing about this toy. None of the options are bad, but wait, there's more, because you're thinking, okay, this is badass Megatron. This, he's going to blow me up and destroy my home and kill everybody that I love. But wait, let's transform him into scary mode. I consider this the Iron Giant mode. So you can flip the chest around and reveal the more intricate chest. And then there's this feature. So his head opens up, and then the whole thing rotates. And actually, the forehead crest and the face are two separate pieces and can pivot independently. I don't know why you would want to, but they can. I'm going to try and rotate them together here just for expediency. Maybe. Let me do this. So there we go. And like I said, the joints are tight. There we go. And so either crest works with either face. But now we've got this face, and then, so this to me is, I guess, after Megatron becomes even more ticked off, I don't know what this is. And I don't know if this is somehow related to the Japanese TV show, or maybe it's an homage to something. I'm not familiar with the Japanese content, but it looks awesome. I wish I knew what it was, but it's just very, very, very cool, and I really like it. But yeah, I have no idea what that represents, and it does really make for a very distinctive alternative robot mode. So that is really, really cool. So going back, and I guess bottom line is, what do I think of this toy, and is it worth it? Well, I will say that even though it's based off of the Galvatron mold, and all of the pieces that he shares with Galvatron still feel thin, and they still feel kind of cheap. But it seems like all the new pieces that they made are much more robust, and they feel solid. Like this chest, I mean, this is a thick, rugged piece with a lot of detail and a lot of extra articulation. And then you have little extra features that the toy doesn't need to be Megatron, but it has it. So it seems like whereas the original geometry that it was based off of was a little bit, you know, just kind of cheap, they have tried to compensate everywhere they could where they were actually changing the geometry and adding to it. And it makes for a really, really fun toy, a cool toy. And if you are a Megatron fan, if you're a Transformers fan, if you just like cool toys of robots that look like they would flatten your city, then I think you want this. And I'm glad that I got it, and I can honestly say that I would recommend it to any Transformers fan. If you have the budget to order this, then you'll probably be happy. You will probably be happy with this toy. I know I am. And but if you do have this toy and you have other opinions, please let me know in the comments. And if you know what this robot mode is, you know, if that's a reference to something, also please let me know in the comments. I'm very interested to see what you have to say, and I always try to reply to my comments. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this review of Transformers Generation Selects Super Megatron. And I guess you could give him wings also if you wanted to. Yeah. You know, I forgot about that. You could give him, like, I guess this is Super Duper Megatron because now he has wings. So, yeah. If you like this video, then please click the thumbs up. That really helps us out. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you know when we are doing more of these videos. Also, we do a live stream pretty much every Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have a live chat running. It's a lot of fun. So please feel free to drop by. We would love to see you. So, that's it. Have a wonderful day. And this is Clay Carlino telling you to stay retro. Bot. Because, you know, it is Retrobot. That's the name of the channel. So I say stay retro, and then I say bot. And that's what I do. It's sort of a shtick, and I don't know if it's a good shtick, but I keep doing it, and I am known for kind of beating my jokes into the ground. I'm sorry about that.